Hey guys, it is Carl Brown for GuitarLessons365.com. Got an absolute smash it from heart today. We learned how to do Alone. So this one's obviously more of a piano-driven track for a lot of it. You can tell from the key it was written on piano. This key is usually no bueno for guitar players, I'm gonna do it like a piano arrangement. Feel free to skip that and just play the actual guitar parts, which are coming later in this video. So the actual rhythm guitar parts, much easier to play. Just when we get to the pre-chorus and chorus sections, I'm sure you guys know the song well. And the solo by Howard Leese is killer. So we're gonna be doing that as well too. So the piano part is just extra credit if you guys wanna play along with that and try to do something. It's an arrangement. It's not the easiest thing in the world to play either if you're trying to kind of emulate what a piano is doing. But I'm going to put that in here anyway if anybody wants to do that. Now, before I get into it, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, ring the bell, all that good stuff. And if you really want to support what I do here on YouTube with all these song lessons year after year, decade after decade, the best way to do it is actually join my Guitar Academy. And you're going to see a link, a YouTube-only link. You won't see this actual price on my Academy, advertised on my Academy, but if you click that link below, it'll give you 40% off the annual price, and you'll have that for life as long as you keep your account active. So it's the biggest deal that you can find. You get a free 7-day trial if you've never even had an account. You get full access to all of my courses, personalized support from me. I do a live stream pretty much every Saturday morning for Academy members. So hopefully you'll come over there and join and learn something and join a great community. And at the same time, you're supporting this YouTube channel. All right, let's jump into this. So we have this really, this piano intro here. So I'm trying to do something that's reasonably playable, but it's just not really possible to do something that's very easy. Now I will say something about the guitar tuning. This is a standard tune guitar I'm using here. When I see Nancy Wilson play some of this live, it sounds like it looks like that she's probably perhaps tuned down a half step, but then you see Howard in a lot of videos and he doesn't look like he's tuned down, like he's tuned to standard. So it's very odd. And then you see more recent videos and he seems like he's tuned down. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna teach everything in standard, all right? So it doesn't matter the piano anyway, it's not even on, it's supposed to be on guitar. And then, but when we get to the actual rhythms and the power chords, it really doesn't matter if you play it in standard or whatever. The power chords kind of work better in standard actually. So, so we're gonna do the solo in standard too, even though it's, we're kind of a flat tuning. Anyway, I'm gonna get into it now. Let's start here with this first thing. So just around a B flat minor here. So that's what I say. That's not a key you're typically gonna get a C played on the guitar too much. So we're gonna have a bar at the third fret. Third fret, the 6th fret across the top 3 strings. And then you'll have that 8th fret there on the D string. So then you're gonna add, what you're gonna do, the melody note is here at the 9th fret there on the high E string. So I'm gonna just strum across that. And you gotta get that little melody going. So you can do that just by strumming across this and then picking the B string and then back to the high E, back to the B. So just let the rest of the chord ring. And then we're gonna come up here to this. So this is basically an F sharp sus, or we'll probably call this a G flat sus2. So it's just a bar at the 9th fret here that I'm doing from the high E across to the A string. And then in front of that, you'll have the 11th fret there on the D string and the 11th fret on the G. So I strum across that first. So after I get up top, I'm gonna come back and pick the G string and then pick the high E string and then move that 11th fret up to the to the high E string. So just with that little melody, just like that. So we had this so far. All right, then we're gonna come back here, this A flat major chord. You could play it here as well, but it's a little line coming up. I just think it's easier to just play it down here. So It's not really a bar, it's just a 6th fret here at the D string, 8th on the G, 9th on the B, and then 8th on the high string. So this kind of I'm just kind of strumming across, and then I come back and pick the G, then the high E string, and then G again. So I'm trying to get the melody that they're kind of going back and forth throughout all these chords. Now here, it's kind of best to just a little bit of hybrid picking. So I'm just going to play the top note and the root note because it's a little moving thing here. We have this, so the note in the bass will be the 9th fret there on the A string. So you'll pick that first, and then you're going to pick with your middle finger the 8th fret there on the high string. And then you'll pick 6 on the high E string, and then 9 on the B, 7 on the B. You can play it like that if you want that. So what's this? So you just kind of let this ring under it. And then we go back to this B flat minor. So that doesn't require that note up on the high E string there. So it's just a bar across those top 3 like we did at the 6th fret. And the 8th fret there on the D string. So I'm kind of strumming across to the B and then hit the high E. So I'm trying to get that melody going. And go back down to the B. So far we have this. Then we go back up to this. But there's no melody on top. So you just kind of play that chord, strum it that we did earlier, that sus2, then across all strings, and then come back to the G, then high E, and then back to the G. So there's nothing. And then the same thing we did before on that A flat major. And then we had this little ending. So this is probably the easiest way. You can hit the open A string. And then you have the 3rd fret there, 5th fret on the G and the high E. So that I'm picking here, and then I'm just hybrid picking these. I got my middle finger playing that G string, and then the ring finger playing the high E. And then, so you let that A ring. So we have, and then I come back here and just move these 2 notes up to 6. I'm now just picking it with the pick in middle, and then up to 8. And then add that 6th fret there on the B after it. So with this. So, sorry. Now, when you hear this part the second time through, they actually play like full chords, which is just this you still have the A, but then you have the bar at the 5th fret across the top 3 strings with the 6th fret there on the B, and then bar across the 6th fret with the 8th fret on the B, and then the same shape, 2 frets higher. And then that note we had here, we're just gonna grab here at the 10th fret. So that's optional. They only kind of do that like one time in the song. It's usually this. A little bit more sparse voicing there. So far we have this, so the whole thing basically. Repeat the same thing from there. And the first time you hear it, you basically hear it, since you hear it instrumentally for one time, you hear it 3 times altogether. At the beginning of the song, you hear that progression done exactly like I just played it 3 times. And then it goes into this. All right, so that is going to be, we're going to move up here to this just major chord form, that G flat again. So a bar from the 9th fret, on the 9th fret from the high E across to the A. And then in front of that, just the 11th fret on the D, G, and the B. So I'm kind of strumming. And then this next chord, I mean, you could do it like this, which is kind of ridiculous. So I'm just gonna do it like this. So this is gonna be the 9th fret across the high E and the B, the 6th fret across the G and the D, and then the 8th fret there, the A. So we have this from here. Then a regular E flat minor. So that's just a bar from the high E to the A at the 6th fret. In front of that, you'll have the 7th fret there on the B, 8th on the G and the D. And then the same shape we did here, the G flat, but at the D flat here at the 4th fret major. So it's just. Then back to these same first chords. Now the second time playing through that progression, instead of going down to this D flat major, it goes to an A flat sus4. So that, you really don't need a bar, just the 4th fret on the low E, 6th on the A, D, and the G. And then you're gonna resolve that to a regular A flat major. So you basically move that note on the 6th fret on the G string down to the 5. So you just play that like that. 4 on the low E, 6 on the A and the D, 5 on the G. And then in the part, back to that D flat major chord. So we have this. All right, now is when we rock. All right, so from there we have, I call this like really the pre-chorus. And then that goes into the chorus. So it looks like this. All right, so that is pretty, got a lot easier, right? We're playing an actual guitar part. All right, so this right here, this is the power chord, the 6th fret of the A string. And then I'm just going down to the 2nd fret on the A for that B power chord. You can grab that here as well too. I don't really know which. Like I said, when it's kind of hard to see exactly how this is played live. There's like Top of the Pops live, which is not live, it's kind of mimed, so they're kind of messing around there. But actual live stuff, it's kind of hard to tell because it looks like 2 guitars in different tunings. But anyway, so that E flat to the B, and then the 2nd fret power chord for the low E string, and then the 4th fret power chord off the A string. So that's the. All right, and then brought up my little bird voice. And then we have the chorus, where that kicks in from there, which is this. Once again, that can be played here. But we basically just have this 1st fret on the A, and then you hear some like synth in there where it's getting some higher notes in there. But really the guitar is just like 1st fret on the A, 4th fret there on the D. And then keep this note on the D string at the 4th fret, just move this note on the A string up to the 2nd fret. And then up to the D flat there at the 4th fret. So here, you can actually go up and grab this because it leads back into that piano part. So it's kind of cool to maybe go and grab this when it's here. If you have another guitar player in the band, which you should if you're in a heart cover band, you need more than one guitar player. So one can be playing up here, but the other one can come up here and grab this D flat major chord. And then transition to the, coming out of that, this 8th fret on the high E and the 9th fret on the B. And then back to the piano part. So this one's done differently since there's not like an acapella, there's not an instrumental section of a version of it at first. You basically play that progression twice instead of like 3 times at the beginning of the song, and then goes to this. So, but anyway, it's the same from there. Those parts, those piano parts are the same, except for that first section is only played twice instead of 3 times. And then we're back to that same pre-chorus. Now this one's played longer. And I'm not going to try to sing that. All right, so that's, you know the song. So it's the same progression, it's just kind of extended because they do some different vocal stuff there. And then you get to the chorus, same chorus. All right, and then we get to the solo. This is a killer solo by Howard Leese. But there's a rhythm underneath that solo first, which is a little bit different, something we've covered so far. So let me show you the rhythm. It's gonna start kind of with that pre-chorus riff, and then it goes from there. So it's like this. So that's how it goes into the chorus. So it's basically that. So it's that progression done twice, and then we get to this. Which is just a B power chord, and then you can play this full chord here, which is the first fret there on the A, 4th on the D, 3rd on the G, 2nd on the B. So an A flat minor. So that's just a bar at the 4th fret, 6th fret on the A and the D. So that, right there is at the 4th fret on the G string, making it minor. And then down to the G flat here, so it's just a bar at the 2nd fret. And in front of that, you have the 4th fret on the A, D, and then the 3rd fret on the G. So it is. And then here we have kind of this D flat held on top, and it's got this. Just kind of that thing kind of moving underneath that little moving bass line. So that starts with this. So you basically, this is my version of doing it. You could that last chord like that too as well. But we basically have the, it's more of an arrangement. I don't know if the guitars are doing all that or it's just like the instrumentation's doing it. But you can do it on guitar, so that's what we're gonna do. So we're holding this 6th fret across the D and the G. So in the bass, at first, we're gonna have the 8th fret there on the A. And then move that, these are gonna stay the same, but you're gonna move the bass line note down to 6th fret there on the A string. And then down to the 4th fret on the A string, still keeping those 6s, so you gotta go back here with these 2 fingers. And then we still want these 6s, we're gonna do it with a bar here, and then grab this. Like I said, this chord can be played like that. So, and then easier to get to the chorus, right? From there. Or we'll play the chorus here. So no rules. Anyway, that's what's going on under the solo. So let's learn the actual solo. This is the fun part. All right, so I'm gonna play through this solo. It's got some little awkward fingerings in it a little bit. If you actually watch how he plays it, it's not so obvious how it's done. But anyway. let's take a look at it. Here we go. All right, so that is an excellent solo. So we're gonna start here with this. Like I said, he might be playing this just in up here. And his guitar is tuned down a half step, whatever. There's not like a, so I don't know. I'm not gonna talk about it. It's just like when you watch live videos when they're like the solo, when they're kind of mimicking, or the top of the pops that are mimicking, it looks like he's more here. He's playing it kind of on a standard tuned guitar, but sometimes more recent things, you never know because everything's tuned so lower anyway. But let's just play it in standard. So that's gonna start with a kind of a double kind of bend at the 14th fret there on the B string, and then pick it, release, down to 11, and then back to a bend at 14. So that pulling off to that 11. So, and then we had this little pedal point lick. So we're gonna start here now. Also, when you see this done, it looks like he's doing. He like taps it and then the video, which is not how he's actually playing it on the recording. And when you see him really play it live, he does it. He's gonna pick it, but for show on the video. So I'm sure I'm gonna be like, he taps it, but he does not tap that. It's possible. You can do it, but I don't think he's playing it that way. Anyway, so we're gonna pick it. So this is gonna be 13, 14 on the high E string, then 14 on the B, back to that 14 on the high E string, 12 on the B, back to that 14 on the high E, 11 on the B, back to that 14. So keep coming back to that 14, right? Down to the 13th fret there on the G. So just in case you want to tap that part, you play that first note here, and then you're going to tap that 19th fret there on the B string, and then pull off to that 14, tap again, pull off to 12, tap again, pull off to 11, tap again, and then pick 13 on the G. So that's, you can still play it. But like I said, I think the way it's actually thinking is picked that way. Much easier too. So, and then we had this. All right, so after that, so after you get to that 13th fret, you do this. 11, 10 on the G to 13 on the D. Then, so that's 13 on the D, 11 on the G, 11 on the B, to 12 on the B. Then you're gonna come up here. That's a bend at the 14th fret. And then play 14, 12, 11 on the B string, up to a bend at the 16th fret on the B. And then you're gonna pick that's already bent, release the bend, pull off to 14, over to 16 on that G. So we have this. Now here we get kind of weird. So when you see him play it live, you see he's kind of doing it like that, and it's like, whoa, that's different than I originally transcribed it. But so we have, the same notes, but he just kind of arranges them in a way that's a little bit, it's harder to play. So we have
13, 6, so after, when we get to that 16 on the G, then you're gonna do this. So it goes 13, 16 on the D, 14 on the B string, then 16 on the G, and then that right there is pick 15, hammer 16, pull back off to 15, pull off to 13, and then back to that 15. So it is. From there we have 14 on the high E string, and then 15, 13 on the G string. And then a big, really move around an intervallic line there. So that's going to be 14 on the A, 13 on the D, 14 on the B, 13 on the G, 16 on the D. It's a really, really cool, interesting way of doing it. All right, from there we have this. All right, so that right there, we're gonna play 13 on the G string, 14 on the B, and then you're gonna slide into this unison of that note, which is at the 18th fret there on the B string, on the G string, sorry. And then from there, so that is gonna be, first you're gonna have a pick 16, hammer on 18, pull back off to 16. Then back over to the 18th fret there on the G string. So after you get to that 18 on the G, go back up the scale, 16, 18, 19 on the B string, up to 16 on the high E, then do a bend to the 19th fret there on the B string to get that same note. So it is. And then release that bend. And then pick 18, and then you're gonna end the solo with a whole step bend at the 19th fret on the high E string. So all together for the whole solo.
Just an awesome, awesome solo. Now coming out of that solo, we just have the same chorus, same chorus, and then it ends with the piano part. All right, so this piano part at the very end kind of stops abruptly right in the middle. So it kind of starts the same. So that kind of like, sort of jumping up that chord, it's kind of end on that B flat minor. All right, beautiful song. Can't really miss with this one. Got a lot of cool things to learn. If you want to do the piano part, it's pretty challenging, but it sounds really cool. If you want to learn the solo, it's just a great solo. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you again soon for GuitarLessons365.com.